of ACOM's online marketing boot camp for VARs titled Email Lead Generation. All of the attendees are automatically muted by default, so if you have any questions, just use the questions tab on your screen. We will be having a short Q&A session at the end of today's webinar. This will be a very fast and informative webinar, and since we're trying to keep it to 30 minutes, we may not have time to answer all of your questions during the webinar, but if not, we'll be sure to get back with you after the webinar. Let me introduce our first speaker, Jim Scott. Jim is ACOM's Senior Vice President of Sales and Marketing. Jim, go ahead and take it away.
Thank you, Valerie, and welcome to the Boot Camp for Online Marketing webinar series. Today's webinar is actually the third in a series of 6 sessions that we've hosted, all of which are designed to help VARs leverage online marketing techniques to grow your own businesses. When we're out talking to our current partners and those considering joining our partner program, we always ask, what type of assistance do you value most from your vendors? And what we hear back from most VARs is that they'd like their vendor, or in this case ACOM, to share our expertise in marketing our products. We're supposed to be the experts in marketing and selling our own products, so the comments are, show me the most effective way to do it. Well, our feeling is that you're right, and ACOM has developed over the years a very cost-effective online marketing methodology, and we run very detailed metrics to measure its performance. Today you'll get a chance to not only see how we do it, but how you can also implement some of these processes in your own business. So one of the questions is, why focus solely on online marketing as opposed to some of the more traditional venues such as print advertising, trade shows, direct mail, etc.? In a word, leverage. It's all about leveraging your marketing budgets, and for most of you, it's all about leveraging your time. Studies will show that online marketing can provide some of the most cost-effective lead generation results available. In today's webinar, we're going to cover the second of 5 key online programs that you can and should utilize. Specifically, today we'll show you how you can put email marketing to work for you in your local market. This webinar, will explore the techniques that we use here at ACOM and that you can easily implement in your own business. To give you a perspective, last month we covered pay-per-click marketing, and today is email, and in the upcoming months we will cover website conversion, followed by search engine optimization, and finally analytics. The educational content that you will observe in today's session is an example of the kind of support you can expect to receive from ACOM as a member of our partner program. We internally have effectively used online marketing for a number of years to generate leads from our customer and prospect databases. We've been able to shift marketing dollars away from traditional print, seminar, trade show, and advertising venues to online programs. The result's been a significant decrease in discretionary marketing expenses while improving lead quality. Here, let me show you a snapshot of the impact online marketing has had on our business. Today, 64% of all of our inquiries come from our online initiatives. 46% of our sales funnel comes from online initiatives, and almost half of our closed sales comes from online initiatives. Stated differently, almost half of our closed business, half of our active sales funnel, and more than half of our leads come from online marketing. And what's most important about this is that the cost for doing this is a mere fraction of what we used to pay using traditional methods. So, how does this relate to you? Well, our goal here is to provide you with tools and education that will allow you to successfully implement online marketing initiatives to grow your business. For our signed partners, we've developed tools such as pay-per-click in a box, which is a pre-configured program including keywords, analytics, and instructions on how to get started. If you would like information on this or any of our online programs, feel free to contact us directly. Contact information is available at our website, which is www.acom.com, and will be posted at the end of today's webinar. So now let me say a quick word about our company and today's featured speaker, Carl Kleinbach. Starting with ACOM, we are a 26-year-old software company providing document management solutions to the mid-market space. Our solutions run on 2 platforms, that being Windows servers and the System I or IBM Power Systems platform. Some of you may remember that as the AS400 or the I-Series. Our mission is to help organizations transition from paper documents and manual processes to electronic documents, including payments, and automated workflows. We specialize in accounting processes. We do this for the mid-market by providing affordable software solutions that are easily implemented and easy to use. If you go to our website, www.acom.com, you'll find more information there. And now let me say a word about our speaker. Carl Kleinbach is our Senior Online Marketing Manager at ACOM. He's an active member and former marketing chairperson of the Web Analytics Association and is a featured contributor for OnlineMarketingConnect.com. He has certifications in several online marketing areas, including search engine optimization, paid search engine management, online testing, demand generation, and pragmatic marketing. Okay. Here at ACOM, due to Carl's results, some of the successes that we've enjoyed include our organic search traffic up 500%, our site conversion rate up 350%, and for any of you involved in sales, that means leads, and total conversions up 800%. So now let's get right down to business, and it is my pleasure to introduce you to Carl Kleinbach. Carl?
Thanks, Jim. I'd like to welcome everybody to today's webinar, Email Marketing. This is one of those deals where email marketing isn't a real popular subject, and if you've been following popular news lately, it seems like it's a bit like that show Britain's Got Talent. There recently was a female contestant on there, and while she may have a bit of an image problem, she could really, really perform. And when it just came right down to it, what it was all about, she just dropped the hammer on everything else around her and everybody else. Email is a lot like that. Why do you want to use email? Now, from a strategic and tactical standpoint, it's just hard to argue with the low cost of email. This is also kind of the double-edged sword and why a lot of spammers use it. Really, your cost per contact is a mere fraction of what it would be with other mediums. The other reasons are it's just so quick to get a campaign done and out the door. This is not like a print campaign or a white paper or a number of other things that you would do where you can have weeks of lead time. Timely results. You know, we've all got quotas, we've got to meet goals. Nice thing about email is you're going to be able to get something and you're a little low for that month. You can get a campaign out and actually get some results generated very, very quickly and impact the bottom line very quickly. The other nice thing here that you're just not going to see with a lot of other marketing mediums is the access to results and metrics. Very quickly, within a few hours, you know if this thing's going to work, not work, and you can see what parts of it are working and what parts aren't. And there's just not a lot of other marketing tactics that you can use that are going to deliver that kind of measurability and timeliness of information. One more thing, and this one is huge, it's just the excellence in being able to target and segment your message to your market. This is where you can really get some big leverage and some returns in terms of getting the highest ROI. And the other one is just, it's glaringly obvious, but nobody talks about it, is you can put a hyperlink in this thing. You can push your message out. It's got a hyperlink. You can move people on through the process. You're not going to be able to do that with a print ad. Somebody's going to have to remember to go back. So let's move more towards the performance end of things. Why email? Well, in terms of ROI, the Direct Marketing Association just completed their 2008 survey, and what they found was for every dollar spent, the ROI on email marketing was $45. Now, comparing that to non-email internet marketing, which is still a high ROI proposition relative to other mediums, it's still outperforming it on a 2-to-1 basis. And some other direct marketing things that they were including in there were at $15 for every dollar spent, 3-to-1. In that same report, actually same organization, different report, they took a look at, based on the goal of the marketing, the direct marketing message, what is it you're trying to do, and matched that up against the medium. And what they actually found was that email produced the highest response rates for people whose objective was to generate leads, which for us is very, very relevant. So what are other marketers planning on doing? In 2009, this survey from Marketing Sherpa indicates, and you can see in the orange circle, it's the top circle that says house email, that the most used tactic among marketers in 2009 is going to be mailing to their house email lists. And in terms of ROI, it was second only to paid search. So again, it's just some more validation that this is really something that we should be taking a look at beyond the rather tarnished image. Let's take this a little bit further here. This is just some more research from Aberdeen Group, and what they did was they interviewed and got people's plans for 2009. 60% of marketers are cutting their traditional marketing budgets, but at the same time, 47% of them are planning on boosting their spending on email marketing. Now that's performance. What about from the perspective of the people receiving the email? What's their perception on this? Well, Jupiter Research dug into this a little bit, and they found that 60% of business decision makers prefer email and the internet over other mediums for receiving marketing messages. They want the messages. So if we've established the value of email, let's start to take a look at, all right, how can we use the tool? And to start, let's just get right into it with the big show here, text versus HTML. And we'll start with some research. This research was done by Silverpop. They're a big email provider, service provider. And so, I mean, statistically speaking, there's no question of the validity of it. And for our purposes, B2B, it's hands down. Text messages, text emails outperform HTML. And we can dig into that a level beyond that and take a look at the click-through rates. And again, emails with text links got 83% more text, more clicks than those with image links. And here we go. But HTML is preferred by recipients generally. They like to look at it. It's easier to find the information. It's nicer formatting. From your perspective, it allows for more sophisticated measurement. You're not going to be able to track a lot of things with just a straight text email. HTML gives you the ability to hide long URLs. If any of you guys are using tracking URLs, marketing automation programs such as Marketo, and that sort of thing, those URLs are very, very long. And in a text email, it just looks hideous, and people are not going to click on it, and they're certainly not going to copy and paste it into the address bar. And here's the kicker. HTML will often deliver better results, regardless of what the benchmarks are. So what are our recommendations? You got to test. You have got to find out which one is working best and for which type of message. There's a number of different types of communications you're going to have, be it content like a newsletter, tips, tactics, that sort of thing, or transactional emails, or promotional emails. You're going to find that different formats work better for different types of emails. Now the other thing here is you have the ability, using email service providers and a lot of the applications, to send messages in what's called a multi-part MIME format. And what it is it's actually taking both the text email and the HTML email, and it's combining them into a single file that gets sent out, and then it takes a look at the email client, and based on the preferences of the email client, then renders that message as text or as HTML. You kind of get the best of both worlds with this. So let's add another twist between just text and HTML, and that's mobile. And this has really grown to be a huge trend. And as you can see here, 64% of business decision makers are viewing email on their mobile devices. This is not to be overlooked or taken lightly. This is huge. You got to start to address this in your email messages. So what can you do to address this issue with mobile? One, if you want to send out the HTML, and I'm not advocating that you don't do that, but there's certainly some easy fixes. One is to put a few lines of text above the HTML that basically encapsulates your offer and call to action. Limit the line length here to under 40 characters on these text lines, and actually ideally probably under 30. What this is going to do is somebody opens up this email, at least they get the general idea and the main point of the email, and they have the ability to take action or at least note that they want to open this thing up later in the regular email client. See, what's going on is a lot of people are using their mobile as kind of a triage to go through their email and just really delete the emails they don't want more often than just look at the ones that they do want to look at. Now here's another twist for us, as if it wasn't hard enough already. The majority of our audience is going to be using Outlook, and a lot of these folks, over 50%, will be using the preview pane. What does this mean to you? You got now another challenge as far as getting people interested enough to open and view your entire email. Let's take a look at just a couple samples that I got from some emails I've received recently. The first one you can see here, standard straight-up HTML email. And the first line, 3 lines of text, which is what's going to show up in that little preview pane, are nothing more than HTML tags calling images. This is not going to get anybody to open that email up. Now, countering that would be another email I received recently. And this is fantastic. This is a perfect example of the type of thing you want to do. It's got a great hook and really gets you to go, all right, I'm going to open this thing up and take a look. So what are you going to do? Let's really place a big emphasis on the first 3 lines of text in your email. If you're doing HTML, go ahead and put a small logo in the top left and then have your headline banner in text. As you can see here, this is just an autoresponder that we've got. And the headline, here's your demo link you requested. You're letting them know right away, and that's going to show up in that preview pane. Let's take a look at what this thing looks like. So top left, you can see just a thumbnail of the email. Below that, you can see what it looks like in the preview pane. And again, in the subject line, we're telling them what we're giving them. And down, you look below, and it says, thank you for requesting the online demo of ACOM's Easy Pay Manager. Here's the demo link you requested. It's not straight text, but again, you're getting the general idea across. And then the other thing is a lot of people will view their emails, and they've got that little preview window down in the bottom, and most people will view it down underneath their actual emails as opposed to on the side. And so you can kind of see what it looks like, just that little snippet below. And again, you've got your email header. And again, it's all about what's in the top left-hand corner of this email. You really got to make that count. Don't put a big graphic banner here. Among other things, most people by default have images suppressed, and the only thing they're going to see is a big white block with a red X in it. So let's jump to some best practices with respect to subject lines. It's difficult to understate the importance of subject lines with respect to the success of your email. This is what's going to determine if this thing even gets opened or not. So you've got to really get this thing right. If it's a promotional message, go ahead and lead with your most important, compelling information. If it's a relationship type of a message, newsletter, tips, something that you're sending out, it's a regular format, they expect it. Best idea here is to showcase the content of that specific issue, particularly whatever you feel is the most compelling content. Transactional emails, go ahead and just play it straight, let them know exactly what it is. For all of the above, it's a good idea to go ahead and brand the email with your company name, so in our case, ACOM. Here you can see a little snippet from Amazon that I pulled out of my inbox. And again, you can see their from address, Amazon.com. That reassures people. And then they start the subject line again, Amazon.com. And then they drop right into, let's get to the meat of the matter, your purchase rewards, 50% off. And again, you can see the excellent job that Amazon does sending out a relevant message and targeting people based on their history within their account, their purchase history. Yes, I'm a dad, and so I've bought a lot of kid stuff, and Amazon knows that. So now they're sending out messages that are tailored for that. The result of that really, by segmenting and customizing that message to me, is typically they're going to see results about 400% higher than people who are just sending out generic messages. With respect to the subject line, above all, you got to remember to test. I know it's a real challenge, and a lot of you won't have lists that are big enough that you're going to be able to pull out 1,000 names and try an A/B test of 2 different subject lines. Even if you can't do a little early test and then send out the best subject line to the remainder of your list, go ahead and split your entire list and try this for a while, and then track it in a spreadsheet. And what you're going to do is you're going to get a real feel for the types of subject lines that your audience responds to. So in that spreadsheet, you'll have the email, the date, your subject line, and your open rates and your click-through rates, and some other relevant metrics. And it's going to make it easy for you to see which ones are performing and which ones aren't. Now, the other thing here is I don't want to obsess. There's a lot of talk about subject line length. And, oh, keep it under 50 characters, keep it under 40 characters. Here's the reality. You can have a long subject line, no problem, and it isn't going to hurt your results. Oftentimes, actually, you can get a lift with a long one. But front load the content of your subject line with what's really important in that message. And that's going to enable them to see what's going to be interesting to them. So let's just jump over and take a look at some best practices for HTML emails. You can see what we've done here is we do very, very simple. There's not a lot of window dressing in terms of the table. It's not a complicated layout. In a lot of ways, it's mostly text. If the images are disabled on this, the logo won't show up and the buttons won't show up in that little graphic, but there's still an active HTML link. They're still going to see all the main points we want to get to them, which is download the guide and why. So keep it simple. Testing, they found that the text should be, your header should be text. Again, that's going to show up in the preview pane. Keep your logo up in the top left. Again, this is just the result of a lot of research. It's the best place for it. When people see it in that little snippet and they preview your email, they'll show up and it gives you some credibility. Assures people that they're getting a message from somebody they know. Have your links both above and below the fold. What we mean by that is, obviously, if you've got to scroll down to see the rest of the message, whatever's below that scroll point is below the fold. Try and have multiple links in different places in your message if they're not all, if your entire message isn't above the fold. Use a combination of text and image links. Different people will respond to different things. It's a good idea to just try and accommodate everybody. Now, another thing here is you'll hear, and this goes back to similar to the subject lines, short copy versus long copy. Really, this is going to come down to the quality of the content and what you've got to say to people. Don't be afraid of long copy or short copy. Test both and see what works best for you. Jumping over to text, and this is likely what you're going to end up using most in terms of just research, and our own experience has shown that oftentimes you're going to do better with text. Limit your line length to 65 characters. Now, there's a neat little trick here too that I just learned last week at a seminar I attended. This was just to add a space at the end of each line. A lot of the clients will rip out your hard returns and so forth and reformat messages, and what you'll end up with is something that looks truly weird. So by having that space there, it makes it so your sentences and so forth flow. Again, similar to HTML, go ahead and have your links above and below the fold. And a lot of times, you're not going to be able to avoid it. You're going to end up with a long URL or link address that you're sending people to. And, people are either going to have to copy and paste that. Sometimes their text to email client will break the links and so forth. There's a couple tools out there, tinyURL or SnipURL. You can add a .com to those. And they give you the ability to actually create very, very short links that will redirect people to your long links. Now, another good idea is to have lots of white space. It makes it very easy for people to read. When you get a lot of text on a page, it gets very dense. Let's face it, people don't like to read. They like to skim, so white space helps. Use simple dividers, little dashes, that sort of thing. It breaks up content, and it's a nice way to actually call attention to whatever your call to action is, what you want people to do. And again here, let's go ahead and test the length of long copy versus short. Now, I have list building here. Before I get into that, one of the things I wanted to say is we use kind of a hybrid approach between HTML and text. The reason we do this is we get a lot of the benefits of the HTML in terms of measurement and tracking, but we present the information in a format that we don't get a lot of the downside of HTML, and it really looks like a text message, which I think a lot of the B2B users are more comfortable doing. The way you can do that, again, is it's predominantly a text message. Put some text up above the HTML portion, and just keep it very, very simple. Now, with respect to list building, the reason you want to build a list is it's going to be your #1 asset. It's the most effective list you're going to have in terms of the response rates. So it really behooves you over time to build a list if you haven't been building one outside of just your standard customers. Some ways you can do this: you can promote various email signups in email signatures that everybody in your company sends out to external touch points. You can promote it on your website on every page. You can see here on the graphic on our website, a lot of our pages, actually most, bottom right-hand corner, we're promoting that newsletter. You can cross-sell on other forums. So if you offer downloads or white papers or anything else, go ahead and invite them to sign up for your newsletter or your weekly tip. And the other thing is, obviously, trade shows, you're getting a lot of what we call cold or group 2 leads, and there's not a lot that the sales team can do with these leads, so let's try and find a way to stay with them, keep in touch with them, let them know that you're an authority in that space. And one of the ways you can do that was with an email invitation to sign up for your newsletter or your weekly tip. Now, all these things are going to typically drive people to a registration page for your newsletter or whatever else. And there's some standardized items that really you should be addressing on that page. Like any landing page, you want to keep it simple. Navigation, options, you want to focus on the offer. Don't provide a lot of other options and that sort of thing. If you can link to a sample of a previous issue of your newsletter, it's a great idea. Again, make it scannable. Here you can see we used bullet points. People, again, don't really want to read, so if they can look through, find the information that they want at a glance, you're going to have a lot more success. Give folks an idea of how often you're going to send the email and what sort of information they can expect in it. And keep your form simple. You don't want a lot of questions. Now here, ours is very simple, and then we build out an idea of as far as their preferences later. This is also a good place to use this, capture their email, and get them going, and then maybe on the next page you can have some preferences and really start to hone in on the type of content they'd like to see. Now with respect to, okay, so I'm going to send out emails. What sort of emails am I going to send out other than your standard promo message, which is a great way to get some list fatigue and have people stop opening your emails. The best way to do that is send out things that are generally called content emails. They're very educational, very informative, and people look forward to actually getting them and learning some good information that's relevant to both the service that you provide and their daily job. For this group, I think you guys are ideally positioned to send out a monthly, or if you're up to it, a weekly how-to tip. You all are experts in various areas, be it a particular ERP, a particular platform, iSeries, or document management, that sort of thing. A tip that's very specific and relevant to that, I think, would be very welcome within your audience. You're going to see very high open rates, and people then are not only, you get a halo effect, not only will they open that, but they'll open your other emails. And then when you do have that email, you can, in addition to that tip, offer a gentle cross-sell and let them know about some other opportunities they've got some things that you offer, that sort of thing. Now there's a couple other content suggestions. You can do case studies, highlight a customer success story, and if you've gotten any recent awards or great reviews, by all means get that thing out. A nice benefit to building out this kind of content and doing this on a regular basis is you can also archive the content up on your website, and you're going to get a big SEO boost out of this. You start to really develop a footprint with search engines in terms of the content that you have, and because it's all relevant really to the service that you provide, again, it's a nice SEO boost, and you're going to see yourself climb in search results. So you sent out your email, you did a nice job. This is a lot like pay-per-click. The big mistake here is just to dump them on the home page of your website. Now, we really went into depth on landing pages in the pay-per-click webinar. If you'd like to learn more about that, I suggest you go ahead and take a look at the recording for that. But the key here is you want to send people to a landing page, and you've got to make the landing page relevant to what was in the email. Restate the offer, use similar look, graphics, that sort of thing. It's just like the email. You've got a couple seconds. People are going to scan. If they're not seeing what they're looking for, they're gone. Focus on the offer. Don't throw a lot of ad hoc stuff there about your product, your company, that sort of thing. The idea here is to get the lead, to get the contact information. So we really want to hone in on that purpose and not give people a lot of options. The more options you give people, the lower your results are going to be. Jumping over to email measurement, you can really go deep on this, but for the purposes of this group, if you're just getting your feet wet, there's a few key statistics here. The rest is really kind of for your statistics wonks, and that's for people who report up to you as far as the results and what maybe you should be doing on the next email. The big ones are open rate. And really the reason you're looking at this is not to sit there and go, golly, I only got 17% of the people to open my message. Open rate is not an accurate statistic because of corporate filters, spam filters. A lot of times they're pulling out the little image beacon that enables you to track open rate. But what you're going to get is a relative measure of performance. And over time, you're going to see which subject lines deliver you a higher open rate and be able to adjust what the content of your subject lines is and have greater success down the road. Click to open rate. So what's this? Rather than just the click-through rate, which is just you sent out 10,000, 100 people click through, so you got like a 0.1%. And rather than just judging it on open rate or conversions, you want to get a good idea as far as what was the success of your creative, your message, your offer, that sort of thing. Click to open rate is going to give you that indicator. What it is of all the people who opened the message, how many of them actually then clicked through. The reason you want that over just a general click-through rate or some other things is because there's a lot of things beyond, the size of your total sends, say. There's a lot of things beyond your control that are not going to be relevant to the success of your message. Spam filters, hard bounces, that sort of thing are going to impact the number of emails that get delivered, and they can skew this number. So stick with click to open. It'll be a good measure of the quality of your message, your creative, and that sort of thing. And of course, the bottom line on measurement is your conversion rate. How many people actually took the desired action at the end of the day? Did they submit a form requesting the white paper? Did they register for the webinar? Did they request information? That sort of thing. One of the ways you're going to be able to track your conversion rate is using a free tool like Google Analytics. We'll go into this in a later webinar. This is a tremendous free tool. You're going to be able to measure all sorts of facets of your email campaigns and a number of other things in terms of SEO, pay-per-click, your websites. But with respect to email, you're going to see the people that click through, did they convert, did they actually stay long enough to read, and you're going to get an idea of where you're falling down and where you're succeeding, and judge campaigns, compare them relative conversion rates. Now, this is a big one here, testing. Email is similar to pay-per-click in this respect. Just starting out, you're not going to have nearly the level of success you're going to have down the road once you've tested, figured out what people respond to. So test all aspects of these campaigns. Test your subject line. Try different offers. Offer them a white paper. Offer them a webinar. Offer them tips, e-guides, that sort of thing. Call to action. What I mean about that is the link, the text in the link. Don't just say click now or visit us. It's like click here to download this webinar or on this white paper. See how you can improve your ROI 200%, that sort of things. Really driving call to action. Test different text in your links, different text on your buttons, that sort of thing. Test your creative, different images, thumbnails, lifestyle shot, a person versus, say, a thumbnail of a white paper cover. And then test your landing page. Of these, the ones I would really say have the biggest impact in terms of testing, subject line and landing page. How are you going to be able to test your landing page? Again, Google jumps in here with a tremendous tool. It's called Google Website Optimizer. It's free. You're going to get a good idea of which elements had an impact and the degree of impact that they had. So overall, when you take a very high-level look at email, what's important, what's going to really have a significant impact? We call this the big three. This is a chart actually from Q Interactive, and it just restates this point. Your list is by far the most important driver of success, because a low-quality list with a lot of people who are not really interested in your product or service is going to deliver very poor results. Contrast that with a high-quality list where you've got information as far as interests of the people on your list. You're going to be able to tailor messages to them, send out a targeted message, and get the right message in front of the right people and have really multiple times the level of success as you would with just a generic email send to everybody. The next thing, the most important, is your offer. Don't just send out a message and go, hey, request a demo, request a guided tour, talk to a sales guy. Really, you need to get creative here and get some offers that are relevant and of interest to people. Educational, white papers, webinars, those sorts of things are going to drive a lot more interest than, hey, get called by a sales guy. And the last thing, and a lot of people focus on this first, is actually your creative. So what does the email look like, the copy, that sort of thing. That's going to be the third thing really that you need to be focusing on. Now, email, it sounds like you're biting off a lot, and you are. But one of the things that's nice is if you do sign up for the ACOM VAR Success Program, we do a nice job of making it a lot easier. A lot of these emails and campaigns we've got pre-made, and they're available through an online tool that enables you to just upload your logo, change the contact details, and really be ready to go and send that message right out.
Okay, thanks, Carl. This was a great webinar. Hopefully everyone picked up a few important tips they can start working on right away. For more information about ACOM's VAR Success Program, please visit acom.com/channels or contact Catherine Bedrosian. Remember to check back often for more of these Marketing University webinars for VARs. If you have questions you want to ask, we're going to stay on for a few extra minutes to answer those. Otherwise, please be sure to fill out the exit survey, as this will help us improve on the next webinar for you. And thank you.